We're following a massive ICE raid at a Hyundai plant in Georgia. Officials say roughly 450 undocumented migrants were apprehended. Now, Thursday's raid was carried out by multiple state and federal law enforcement agencies, including ICE, the FBI, and the Georgia State Patrol.
475 workers were detained Thursday. The operation was one of the most extensive immigration raids in recent U.S. history. It's part of the Trump administration's plan to crack down on illegal immigration, targeting workspaces.
We need all work to end on the site right now.
The site houses an electric vehicle battery plant jointly operated by South Korea-based companies Hyundai and LG Energy Solution. Roughly 300 of the workers that were detained are from South Korea. Those workers will now return on a chartered flight following negotiations between the U.S. and South Korean leaders, according to an official.
This has been a multi-month criminal investigation.
The South Korean presidential chief of staff saying, quote, "To prevent a reoccurrence of similar cases, we will work together with the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Energy and the companies concerned to review and improve the visa system and stay status of people traveling to the U.S. for investment projects."
So there were 452 illegals apprehended at the Hyundai mega plant construction site yesterday near Savannah. And I was the one that reported the information that I had to ICE. But it goes beyond just someone working illegally. Let me explain to you. These people are working for slave wages. Some are not getting paid. Some are being trafficked. They send money home to their country. They give money to their handler. They have hardly anything left. They live in homes 5 families deep, have no quality of life. Modern day slavery. So if you think that ICE is just going in and ripping people out of their jobs, these hardworking people that want a better life, well, guess what? Politicians have really screwed these people, because when they came here, they thought they were, hey, the border's open, we're coming in, we're gonna get the 5-star treatment, and we can go to the big Walmart, and we can live in a 5-star hotel, and that's just not how it is. It's very bad conditions, very inhumane, and the Biden administration started a humanitarian crisis. So y'all can't just look at it like they're ripping good people off the job. They're probably saving their lives in the long run.
The fallout continues. You have a bunch of immigrants in America complaining about this plant in southeast Georgia being dominated by a bunch of illegals. They're still ranting about this raid, where nearly 500 illegals were arrested, most of them South Korean. And this white lady right here is catching a whole lot of heat on Moist Snowflake TikTok. Yes, they're calling Karen out after she admitted that she was indeed the one who reported the Ella Bell Hyundai plant that's taking all kinds of incentives to build this facility in Georgia. They promised to create all these jobs for Americans, and then had a bunch of non-Americans working on the site. The American First crowd was not happy with that. And the others that hate America but insist in being on the land, they're not happy that Karen made one phone call and got all these folks packed up. They're fuming. I thought they said illegals weren't taking jobs Americans wanted. They said they're only picking strawberries. Well, these jobs at Hyundai are not strawberry picking positions. Word is these jobs are paying an average of $70,000 per year. I don't know, but that's some very expensive strawberry picking positions at the plant down there. And remember, this is not a major metro. For those who don't know, Ella Bell is a country town outside of Savannah, Georgia, where $70,000 is like $125,000. It's great money for an average American family. But now they're out here windmilling in the TikTok streets, a bunch of people in America waving foreign flags, tearing Karen behind up. Yes, they're tagging Karen left and right for calling the alphabet boys on the illegals in Ella Bell. We're going to get into it, but first, take a second to make sure you're subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell for all updates. Won't waste any time, let's go ahead and jump into it.
The only people that are mad about this raid in Ella Bell, Georgia at the Hyundai mega site are probably people that don't pay taxes. Because in 2022, when they signed the agreement to bring that plant here and build it, they were given $32 million in tax breaks to employ Georgians, and they didn't. The Georgians never were hired temp to permanent. They had more of the people apprehended yesterday were Korean. They either were here illegally, overstayed their visas, or it was illegals working for the contractors and on the site. So They got all these tax cuts and never created jobs for Georgians. They get EPA tax cuts, never had any plans for well infrastructure or water. So the water they're using is in turn drying up farmers' wells. And all these surrounding counties are like, well, we have money put back in case we need to put in new wells. Well, who does that fall back on? The taxpayers. And how many cattle or crop have to die before they get it put in if they have to go in and put in those backup wells? It's not benefiting Georgians. And if you're a taxpayer, it should piss you off. You shouldn't be defending it. I was the one that reported 452 illegals apprehended at the Hyundai mega plant construction site yesterday near Savannah.
I can just imagine how that phone call went. You said, hey, I have a tip for the Hyundai in Savannah. And they were like, where? And you're like, the Hyundai. And then they were like, is that a hotel? Like, what is that, ma'am? And then you're like, Hyundai. And they're like, can you spell it for me? And that's how they got there.
Listen, that lady said she didn't know how to say the company name, but she knew how to pronounce ICE. So she called the folks and said, y'all need to go pack them illegals up. But yeah, she definitely was messing up their name.
Because you are so intellectually lazy, you don't even know what the company's called. But anyways, I have a question. Have they picked you yet? Did you get an award or something? Oh, what am I even thinking? I keep forgetting that they reward for racist people like you, people who are so empty inside, people who really offer nothing to society, is just to see other people suffer. Your reward was really just knowing and going to sleep at night, knowing well that those people are probably going to be sent to countries where they've never been.
And they love getting on TikTok spreading lies and propaganda. Girl, them people getting sent back to their home country. Yeah, all the South Koreans got loaded up on a chartered flight and they're on their way back to South Korea. They try so hard to make these people victims that they will twist these stories just to try to squeeze out some lifetime sob mystery. No, it's nothing mysterious here.
A Hyundai plant in Savannah, Georgia was just raided by ICE that detained about 500 people, and over 300 of them were Korean nationals. Like, this is major. Like, I talked about the Jakarta method a couple days ago. The US did the same thing in Korea, in Jeju, where there was a socialist movement in Korea, and the US did not like that. So the US killed hundreds of thousands of Koreans.
Again, these people want to be victims so bad, they're just pulling crap out the air. Sir, nobody killed anybody at the plant the other day. They literally just shut the place down and made everybody show their IDs. And if they didn't have papers and were in the country illegally, they got packed up and shipped out. Yes, after their country sent a plane for them. But see, with these people, the goal is not to tell the truth. The goal is to be as dramatic as possible while spewing lies to get people emotionally charged up over something that didn't even happen.
Did you see this raid at the Hyundai construction site? Well, this woman is allegedly responsible for the raid. Listen to what she had to say.
So there were 452 illegals, and I was the one that reported the information that I had to ICE. But it goes beyond just someone working illegally. Let me explain to you.
So this is Tory Branham, a Republican candidate for Georgia's 12th congressional district, who as a politician should have thought about how shutting down the single biggest economic investment made by a company in Georgia's history would affect her constituents.
And they love trying to talk fast so you can't catch them running away from common sense. He said Karen should have known calling ICE on the plant would impact her constituents. Nah, the negative impact here wasn't on the actual citizens of the community. It was on the undocumented workers. And by definition, those illegals working at the plant are not constituents. Constituents are members of the representative's voting district, people who have the right to vote and participate in American civic life. That category does not include illegal immigrants who are not citizens. If anything, the lady calling ICE on them, whether motivated by concern for the law, fairness in the job market, workplace safety, or whatever her reason was, the end result was upholding the law and protecting actual constituents. And that's American citizens who might be competing for those jobs at the plant that they can't get, or affected by broader economic pressures tied to illegal labor. At the end of the day, responsibility lies with the company that broke immigration and labor laws, not the individual who brought the violations to light. Expecting someone to overlook illegal hiring practices because it might inconvenience a business that depends on them is asking people to look the other way on the rule of law.
This was confirmed by Rolling Stone, and according to the report, Tory recruited a Spanish-speaking union worker who had access to the site to become her informant. After hearing rumors of the construction site using undocumented labor and 3 worker deaths at the site. Ironically, the other workers trusted this union worker because he had previously helped them win lawsuits against unsafe work conditions.
And that's crazy, by the way. 3 people died at the plant, lost their lives, and no one made noise about it. Nah, not a peep. But now they're crying because some illegals got sent home, never once realizing that those deaths were likely swept under the rug because the illegal activity was going on there. When you have people breaking the law, of course, they don't want attention. And that includes avoiding attention by covering up serious safety issues. So instead of blaming the person who reported it, maybe they should be concerned about why the plant was operating like that in the first place. Yeah, fight to hold those corporations accountable instead of fighting for illegals to stay in the country. Because first of all, it's not happening. They're getting deported. So if you're on the other side and you really want justice, why not fight for the corporations to be held to the fire too, instead of fighting to let your cousins off? Nah, tell them you want equality. Expose the managers and executives and push for them to be treated like the illegals.
So Tory took the rumors and the information from the informants and gave it to authorities. Authorities did say that this was a part of a months-long investigation with multiple agencies, but did not mention that this was started by Tory. And Tory is proud of what she did, saying, quote, "This is what I voted for to get rid of a lot of," in that word.
And look, he's up here pointing out the word illegal like it's the N-word. I can't.
So I'm sure many of you guys have seen this video of this lady named Tory Branham saying that she was the one that called ICE on the Hyundai manufacturing plant near Savannah, Georgia, where they're constructing a facility that they're going to build electric vehicle batteries, etc., right? Where ICE claims they conducted their largest worksite raid in history, approximately 475 people. She says that she's the one that called them because there were so many labor law violations, that people were being worked like slaves, all that stuff. Those were her words, right? Well, guess what? She's running for Congress in Georgia. Tory Branham for Congress. And that leads me to believe that none of what she said in that video is true. You know why? She is most likely just trying to score points with whatever her base is in whatever area of Georgia she lives, whatever MAGA county she's from, so that when she runs for office, everyone knows her as, oh yeah, that lady from TikTok that called ICE on all those South Korean illegals. Yeah, let's vote for her. She's a hardliner on immigration, just like our daddy Trump, so let's vote for her. Do you guys want to know how much South Korea is investing into the United States in the coming years with factories like this, for Hyundai, for companies like LG, etc.? $350 billion. Now imagine, they're investing into this manufacturing plant near Savannah, Georgia, in the deep South, where places like this are absolutely necessary. People need jobs, good paying jobs with benefits. There needs to be industry, more, investment into the local economy. And then ICE goes ahead and does this.
Obviously, this lady is trying to score brownie points with her base. She's basically doing whatever the folks in her district are asking for. That's called listening to their base and giving them what they want. So this will probably help her more than hurt her. And sure, these South Korean companies are investing billions into building their company plants in the United States. But let's not pretend like this is some kind of act of charity towards the American people. These companies aren't setting up shop here out of kindness. This is business. They're doing it because we, the American taxpayer, we're handing them massive subsidies, tax breaks, and incentives to build on American soil, while at the same time giving them more access and profit for them to market to the American consumer and get more money out of us. Let's not forget, these companies are taking billions in public funds. Georgia alone has offered Hyundai billions in tax breaks and infrastructure support to bring those plants to the state. That's not a gift to America. That's an investment by Americans to attract jobs and economic development for Americans. But here's the issue. If those great paying jobs are all going to undocumented immigrants or foreign nationals, then how exactly is this helping American citizens, especially working class people in the Deep South, who were promised opportunity? What benefit does a billion-dollar plant bring to a rural Georgia town if the people who live there can't even get hired? You can't sell these projects to taxpayers as job-creating miracles, then get mad when people ask why Americans aren't getting the jobs. If ICE shows up and removes undocumented workers, that's not ICE taking their workers. That's enforcement of the law. It's not America's job to fund private multinational corporations just so they can exploit illegal labor on U.S. soil.
So if you haven't been following the gossip and tea happening outside of Savannah, Georgia over the past week, let me recap you. There's a raid at the Hyundai plant. They took 475 South Koreans into custody. Yeah, that wasn't good. Well, apparently South Korea and the U.S. have reached an agreement, and it's saying they're going to return at least 300 of them to South Korea. Now, here's where it gets interesting, y'all. I think the agreement already went through because we just drove by Hunter Army Airfield, and let me show you what we see. Now, according to the news report, South Korea is sending a private chartered plane to pick up the 300 plus South Koreans to return them home. This is currently sitting on the runway at Hunter Army Airfield. So my question is this: have they been detaining the 475 South Koreans at Hunter Army Airfield? Does anybody know? And when you zoom in, it says Eastern. I mean, it is interesting that the news just released this information like an hour ago, and there is a plane sitting on the runway at Hunter Army Airfield.
This was definitely a big one for ICE. They packed up a lot of people, even the model minority that normally have nothing to say. A few of them out here poking their heads out.
What do you mean we're not going to turn this into an aha, I told you so moment? You can go ahead and keep that to yourself, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say I told you so, because a lot of us, yep, fam, I see you. I see you in my comments. You've been talking to your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents, your parents, your cousins for a very long time about how MAGA doesn't care about us. They don't. It doesn't matter your immigration status. It doesn't matter if you're documented or not. It doesn't matter if you're educated or not. It doesn't matter if you have a job or not. MAGA doesn't care about us. And you know what? We've been telling them for 10 years, and they gaslit us. They were like, no, it's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. He's not talking about us. It's going to be fine. Go Trump. They've been saying that forever. And the only way Republicans ever learn that the Republican Party doesn't care about them is when bad things happen to them, when bad things happen to themselves. They can't look at other groups and say, you know what, I really don't want bad things to happen to women and gay people, or seniors on Medicaid, or children who need health insurance. They don't care about them. They only care about themselves. Well, they only care when bad things happen to them. So yeah, we have to say, look, I told you so.
All I can say is now they're realizing they're on the chopping block too. But I digress. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Tell me what you think about this below. Special thank you to Samuel R. I appreciate you, Samuel, for your contribution to the channel, as well as our sister Starlet. You can show your support as well. The link to PayPal is below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to like and share.